Let the bass kick.
Where's Dr. Hoy when you need him? he's the master of it. I'm gonna try to innovate. Oh, I was gonna go. Here we go. Podcast on the Tuesday instead of Monday. We had to go and get some people up in here dressing just alike. I like that shirt right there because it seems like you got a little disco essence inside. I don't know about you, but you make me want like that, and I'll wear it on the show. That's all I got.
All right.
Mark Miller.
Man, you killed it, man.
What up?
I was totally not ready for that.
He crushed it, man.
How else are we going to break the ice? What up? What up? What
I
up?
thought the Sapphire Lounge was in a club.
We are. We in the club on a Tuesday.
I Googled it, and it is a strip club in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Nice.
Potentially unfortunate coincidence.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for pointing that out, Justin. All right.
That's why you got lawyers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Totally different product, guys. Yeah, welcome back to The Last Cash, guys. Episode 26. I'm Will.
I'm Marcus.
And joining us tonight, we've got super fan Justin Morris over there in Jay's Space Mafia seat. We've got Jason Jones, and we got Bobby Wims.
How goes it, everyone?
And we are talking about probably a whole lot of crazy stuff, but we're going to talk about the broken still. And if you guys don't know what the broken still is, you better, something wrong with you better check yourself. No, but it's one of the newer private courses in the Middle Tennessee area. And if you have seen them, it's probably because of recent posts on social media. You guys have a Facebook page and stuff now, and you've been hosting some events. Notably, you hosted a fundraiser for Ogwood. Now, I see a lot of generosity in the sport of disc golf. I've been involved in it for a while, but you don't often see one private course hosting an event to raise money for another private course. And that is just, spatial.
Golf snaps.
Golf snaps to you guys, man. Yeah, that's
Disc golf family.
Yeah, Disc Golf family, man.
That's how I was told, I guess.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, that's a true testament. What truer testament to the spirit of disc golf could you possibly have? And leading by example too. I mean, people see that kind of stuff and they realize that they can do that kind of thing. You know, if you have something that's important to you, you can support it through disc golf. That's one of the greatest things about the sport. I mean, you know, the spirit of unity, the community of it, but also it's a huge, powerful engine for fundraising. You know, and people will show up to support a good cause.
Oh, yeah. We had a good turnout, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. How many
We
players
raised
did you have?
$600 for
$600 is huge. You guys had like 40 people, I think, or something.
54,
Yeah.
I think.
54, dude. That's
Wow.
a huge turnout. Especially as we were talking off the air a little bit. You mentioned it's a small course. It's a backyard
Oh
course.
yeah,
Would you say it's on
You
like
know?
5 acres?
7 to 10. I don't
7
know
to 10.
how
Since
many
we had
it's on.
the additions.
We own 7. We use some neighbors' land also that are generous. Unlike Phil's neighbors that don't want him playing beside him. You
Is
know?
that the ask for forgiveness?
Our neighbors like to see us clean the neighborhood up. And
Yeah, that's good stuff. So you say 7 to 10 acres. I'm thinking the original Horton layout is about that size of space. You guys know? Are you familiar with Horton?
yeah, but not the original layout.
Yeah, not
It's-
the original.
Okay.
We're a little tighter than, you know.
It was really
we're
small.
pretty tight, you
Yeah.
know.
We kind of play along that creek bed and the hillside too, so like we have a lot of elevation changes and stuff. And Horton has like a lot of bigger trees. And the way we're laid out, you really play the hills and stuff like that.
So I know a lot of times what you'll see with private courses that kind of separates them from your more traditional designs is because it's a private course and it's on your land and you can you have carte blanche with doing whatever you want to do. Sorry, coughed right at you.
You're good. You're good. Been there.
A lot of times you'll see some liberties taken with things like I don't know, things that might be considered like a cardinal rule in course design, where you don't want to have fairways intersecting with each other. You don't want to have fairways paralleling too close together or in a way where people are going to come in contact with each other. And we mentioned that, you know, it's obviously it's a small property and you've got 20 holes out there. So, and you said you've got some shorts and some longs. So I'm assuming that the capacity of players that you can handle there is limited more like because of issues like that, where you've, in the interest of providing a better hole, you've taken those liberties maybe and like stretched a hole out further and knowingly that it's going to go over another fairway or something like that. Would you say
it's more about having fun shots and, you know, for myself more than friends, more than anything.
Yeah.
Than having tournaments.
Having that moment where you're at the tee pad and you look at a hole and you're like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Like this is a hole, like you see a picture of it and you want to throw it kind
Exactly. The barn is a perfect example.
of thing. Yeah.
So we're limited to you know, only half a normal tournament layout, having to start on alternate holes.
So when we talk about the 54 people you guys had at the Ogwood fundraiser out there, that's pretty much max capacity field right there.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, we
We tried to get 60. I mean, that would have been the max.
Yeah, we kept a pretty good gap between each
For
card.
a
and
doubles
nobody
event.
really got in the way of each other.
Yeah.
So it played really smoothly.
3 teams per card is
Yeah.
what we had. So.
And it was a doubles format.
Yeah.
Okay.
A normal tournament, we would probably run max 5 per card.
We're hoping to have a few more. We're planning another tournament. Justin's been doing a lot of work on it.
May 22nd. We have yet to nail down all the details, but we'll get it out there eventually.
Nice.
Very cool. So, I'm not sure why I thought I had more pictures than that. I'll fix that on the break. We'll show those off. I saved a bunch of pictures to show off of the course and stuff. So yeah, you've got a barn hole, much like Ogwood, and that's one of the pictures that I was about to pull up. But the basket, is it on the lower level? Because I know it's like there's an upper
It's
deck.
hanging in like a doorway in the upper part of
Oh,
it,
that's
you know.
dope.
What's it, about 7-8 feet in the air, maybe?
Yeah, bottom of the basket's probably 8 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got a stump basket out there.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3.
I was the first one to ace that.
Nice.
on his
Congrats,
birthday.
golf snaps. Golf
that
snaps
like
for
a-
the first ace.
Not to brag.
Rolling ace.
We
The
also
bu-
had
the
a
barn hole
newbie
is
ace
just-
that hole. He just started playing this year, I believe. Matthew Roberts aced that hole. as
Okay.
well.
Oh yeah, he's one of the new guys from
Yeah.
town that
Yeah.
found out about the course and fell in
Slowly
love with
growing
it.
our community out there and trying to.
Very nice. Snaps to Matt. And so, yeah, tell us, because you guys are in Lyles, Tennessee.
Mhm.
Where is Lyles?
It's about 50 miles west of Nashville.
Okay. Dixon area?
Dixon area, just past Fairview.
Okay.
And a lot of people may know Centerville. It's just outside of Centerville.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's just this little small community. I've lived there for over 20-something years.
That's really interesting. And I guess maybe I kind of come face to face with it more often because we do the podcast, but how everything comes full circle with disc golf in a really long term. Like I had a disc when I first got started playing, when I got it from Cloud9, when Cloud9 was still open in town, and it was a first run Renegade, and it was green and it had a frog died on it that Ed and Kim had done. And I didn't know Ed and Kim at the time, and I went to Clearwater, Florida, and I threw that disc and lost it in the water. 6 months later or something, because before I left Florida, I happened to have a picture of the disc on my phone, and I posted it on the Clearwater Disc Golf Store's Facebook page, just in the random chance that somebody might bring it in. Like 6 months later, Wendy called me up, and somebody had brought it in, and so I got it back. Well, then by that point, I had met Ed and Kim, and we later became really good friends, and then I told them that story. She said, well, that's interesting because Ed and Kim toured with Wendy and her husband back in the 90s and stuff. So they knew each other. So that disc made like a little triangle of friendship.
Well, speaking of
Goes
Ed and
with flying
Kim,
colors, yeah.
That's
Ed
who we
is who
bought
we
most
bought
of our baskets from.
from
Okay.
when we decided to start the course.
Golf snaps to the birdies. Love
Thank you
those
very
guys.
much.
Yeah.
See you guys Thursday.
And I think he told me that the baskets that we have, some of them were used at the first Tennessee State doubles game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, out at Short Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
So-
sure I played that one.
So a little bit of a bragging right to say we have some Tennessee
Little bit.
history also and legacy baskets at our course as well.
A little bit of history there. I guess we make sure that Will doesn't throw any disc with frogs on them
Yeah.
over the water.
Make sure Marcus doesn't throw any queens
Hey,
anywhere.
well, I'm just saying, frog disc, he lost it in the water when he had losses.
Yeah, good idea. Green frog, reptiles, gators were in that water. That's why I didn't go after it too. I had ran into some guys earlier on in the course, and they were like, "Yeah, don't go in the water. There is gators." And I was like, "Okay." But no, another full circle thing that I just noticed. The guy that got me into disc golf, my best friend Ryan out in Arizona. One of the interesting things is, like, I live in Nashville. He went to high school in Centerville.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, and I've never known anybody else that like had ties to like that area.
We
Centerville.
probably went to the same high school. Then.
So
That's
it's
where we graduated from.
Yeah.
It's like a circle. It's like a big circle.
Circle.
But there's some special history to the course. It's on your father's land,
Yeah.
correct? So tell us about your father. What's his name?
Grady Jones.
Grady Jones.
Shout out Grady.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Grady.
Just
Golf
got
Center.
him into the sport last year. 70 years old. Bought him a set of discs for his birthday.
That's awesome.
He
Loves
upkeeps
it.
the course, shows people the layout.
And he's the caretaker of the property.
Pretty
Pretty
much,
much.
yeah.
He made all our stone signs.
Yep.
How long has that land been in your family?
We bought it 2001. 2001.
Okay. And was there any other purpose for it? Farming or growing anything, or you just wanted to have some land?
The
or-
Wrigley community used to be like a
Used to be like a little mining coal town.
corporate town, a company town, the Wrigley Charcoal Factory.
Okay.
So, like, we're right beside the old baseball field. So we kind of got the holler to play in and some of the ball field area as well.
Gotcha. Well, that's
Power line as well.
yeah. We were
Helps out a lot.
That just make like every time you see one of those spots, it's like this was made to throw a disc.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe Grady was saying that the house actually used to be like a convenience store or something back in
It
the
used to be a store years ago, yes.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's still a gas tank buried in the front yard.
Really? No telling there might be
wouldn't doubt it.
treasure in there.
Yeah.
We might have to go spelunking.
Well, come play it. We'll go digging.
Yeah.
That's a whole different kind of fundraiser.
Bring a shovel.
Yeah. Get it raising funds if there's money in there. Get it? Fundraiser. Anyway,
Trying to recover from the frog. I
a
guess.
shot and a miss.
Pun intended.
Swing and a miss. So, I know you mentioned the course is probably plays on 7 to 10 acres. Is that pretty much the scope of the property, or is the property a little bigger than that, and that's the portion that the course
I
plays on?
think
or-
we have 7 acres. My neighbors let us use like about another 7, maybe.
Okay. You have 20 holes, so 7 to 10 acres. Man, yeah, traditional backyard.
Yeah, it's something I'd like to do. You know, get a couple acres, maybe 7. It seems like that's all I need. You know, I've got a couple baskets so far. Trying to get my basket game right, but you know, shouts out to you all for creating a course. Me living out in West, I definitely got to come check it out now. You know, I played Dixon a couple times, lost a couple discs out there.
Oh yeah.
None being green with frogs on it. But
That's part of why it got built, because I got tired of driving 25 minutes to put something in the lake over there or
yeah, true.
walk 5 miles.
Yeah, there's some epic shots out there, but a lot of shots you don't want to take because they're a little too epic and too scary just to be, you know.
For
my process.
beginners now, and since last year we've had so many beginners, it's probably kind of frustrating course to start out on a big 300 and 400 foot shot.
Well, that's
you
the
know.
biggest problem with it, honestly, and that's really, I mean, the only problem with it, because I love that course. I mean, I love it from the short tees, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a course with not an established, or it's a city without an established disc golf scene or community.
I believe Jeff Snyder heads the Dixon Disc
Yes,
Golf
Jeff
Club.
Snyder has been running the Dixon Club, but it's it's very small.
Hit or
And,
miss, yeah.
and there have been many attempts at running a Dixon
It's
Club.
hard
and
to start a club and form a league. It can be
And-
very hard.
It is very hard, and then if you add to it the fact that the course that you're using, I mean, you talk about somebody that's a first-time player. They play that course, they're not going to want to play that course.
It can be
or play,
de- it can
play
be
the game
defeating.
ever again. Yeah, it can be very, very punishing.
And for a long time, it was the only course in the area too. You know, so
And if you're talking about a person that you've barely got on the hook to go play disc golf, and it's like, well, we can go 5 minutes to this monster course, or we can drive 30 minutes to Burns, and then it's like it's hard to talk somebody into driving 30 minutes to try something for the first time that sounds dumb, and then if you actually get them to go to the course 5 minutes down the road, they never want to play again. So it would be a different story if there was a beginner course right there in Dixon as well. Even just something like Burns Park in Kingston Springs, something right there in town where you could take somebody for their first time, give them a chance to get the bug.
It's a fun, easy course, man.
Well, we're trying to build a good disc golf community in Hickman itself.
Yeah.
Around Centerville, and we're in talks with trying to build another course somewhere. It probably won't be a full 18, but probably a 9-hole course somewhere in Centerville.
Talking with like a parks department.
I've talked to the Hickman's County East Hickman Parks Board,
Okay.
but last year, the whole pandemic, and plus me living in Wisconsin, I kind of lost contact with him about it.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping somebody else can pick the ball up.
Now we have now we have a few more people involved. So.
You just got told, son.
Oh no! It's been in the works for a while.
Yeah.
So.
That's how you do it.
I got
build a
lost
course.
last year wandering around the property trying to find the property markers.
In the
While
rain,
talking to him on the
in
phone,
the rain,
in the
with
rain.
a piece of paper trying to orient ourselves. Like,
That'll work.
oh yeah,
It sounds like something you do in Hickman.
yeah.
There's already some like walking trails and stuff cut out, and they've kind of give us a few guidelines and regulations on what to base what our design will be off of.
Yeah.
Like where we're going to lay fairways and stuff. So we've kind of got the interest peaked with them. So we're just trying to push forward this year and kind of take action.
Well, if I can be of any help, I mean, we've been dealing with the Parks Board here for course stuff for a long time. I kind of know my way around how to talk to them, because the biggest thing is that it's hard. Like, there's a lot that gets lost in translation with the Parks Board because they have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to disc golf and no interest in figuring it out. So it's like you are like, and then you can't even approach the conversation from the perspective of like trying to educate them on what it's about, and then also get this objective accomplished, because you want them to understand why certain things are important to you. When they're like, why do you want the woods? And that doesn't make sense to them. We got all these woods in the back of the park that nobody, it's like, well, that's what we want. Thanks.
Exactly. Perfect. Give that to us.
But they don't want, as soon as you start trying to explain to them, that they just kind of,
Yeah.
The board chairman there is a ball golfer, so he has an idea.
Okay.
And I've told him it's all just about safety and keeping away from the existing trails, and
there are ways that
he wants a plan. Is what he wants to look at. Plan.
And there are definitely ways that you can incorporate disc golf into a multi-use space safely, and it's been done. And and there are plenty of people that you can point to that have done it successfully in terms of course design. The established people like H.P. Clark and John Houck, and
I mean, Barfield's a good
Eric
example.
McKay.
They have all those walking trails people walk down all the time, and there's a nice disc golf course.
I wouldn't
right
say that that's the safest design I've seen.
I've
safe,
played
but-
173 courses, and I've played some sketchy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like throwing over bleachers that are right beside a baseball field. It's like, that's the fairway, really?
Yeah.
Between two baseball fields, bleachers. I have a 30-foot gap.
You played Cane Creek in Cookville?
Yes, you have.
I don't know.
No.
I've played Cane Creek.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't remember which hole it is. I think I want to.
It's been a few years since I've been out there though.
It's on the back nine. I want to say it might be like hole 15, where you're up on this hillside
Oh yeah, I
on
know
the
exactly
right,
what you're talking about.
and the walking trails. There's like 3 of them that converge at the same spot, and there's a bench right there, and then to either side of the bench are 2 trees, and that is the line across a pond
Nice.
to where the basket is. You can lay up by going around either side, but still have a chance at hitting somebody. But the ideal shot is right above the bench, right where all 3 trails come together in between those trees. And I remember the first time I ever played it, my friend Jared was about to play the Cane Creek Challenge, and he had never played it before. He wanted to go practice it. And I went up there with him. I wasn't playing the tournament, but I just went up there with him to play it. And we got to that hole, and I had only been playing a couple of years, well, maybe a few years at that point, but I immediately looked at it. I was like, that is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. Instantly ruined the course for me. I was like, I doubt I'll ever come here to play again.
You didn't ace it?
No, I didn't ace it. I aced a forehead.
You just showed us the
I
line.
got a forehead ace, dude.
I mean,
I played several.
I had a
with park
13-year-old
benches
girl
between
square in the
T-pad.
bridge of her nose. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. Sorry.
I played several with park benches between the tee pad and the basket here in the past 6 months.
Oh yeah. I mean, I imagine up in the Midwest where disc golf has been around longer, you see probably some stuff like that, because a lot of courses when they originally went into the ground, you're talking like in the early 90s, mid 90s and stuff like that. Those all disc golf courses were put into multi-use spaces and not put in the safest consideration of those multi-use spaces. And it was just because the only way to get people's attention was to put it where they could see you playing. But now discs are dangerous.
Oh yeah.
They can hurt you. So, and
I remember I lived in Illinois, went to high school in Illinois, and blocks from my house were disc golf baskets, and I had no idea what they were.
Yeah.
For years. I didn't know till, like I said, Bobby.
Yeah, don't point at me,
Bobby
man.
and
Come on, dude. It's fine. Wait, really? Seriously?
I got stories too, man.
Sure, yeah. My grandmother lives across the street from
you know how many times I told my friends, that sounds stupid.
But yeah, she lives across the street from Morningside Park, and growing up in Knoxville, I had the chance and opportunity to be playing out with Will Shoestreet like every single day, because he played at the park that was across the street from my grandmother's house. So I got here, learned about disc golf, fell off for a year, got into it so strong now that I'm a 10-year member. And as soon as I found out there was a course in Knoxville called Morningside Park, I just went back home, looked off my front porch of my grandmother's house, and I could see the basket right there. Just thinking to myself, like, yeah, I could have been playing a long time ago, but had no clue what that basket was.
It was right there the whole time.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, the guy that me and my mom lived with, he was an old freestyler and ultimate player from back in the day. And so anytime we were outside camping or just outside, we were throwing a frisbee, like a lid. And so I was around that. And then in high school, I was on the track team. I threw discus. College, I played some ultimate. And I knew about disc golf, at least vaguely at that point. And then around that time, this is rural West Virginia, and my friend had this big piece of land out in the woods. And we would play what we called forest golf, where we would get a bucket of balls, and we would have like mini golf clubs and then buckets of beer, and we would go walk through the woods, and we would just find gaps through the trees and make them fairways, and we would use logging tape around trees to say, oh, you got to hit that tree between the two strips of logging tape to hole out. And we would walk around like that for hours. And then I remember, I want to say probably around the time I was 18, I worked in this computer shop, and the guy that owned it was president of the local disc golf club. And there was disc golf stuff in the shop. And people, from time to time, a friend would say, oh, well, let's go play disc golf. And I'd be like, that sounds dumb. And so now it's like all those things I look back on, and it was like, man, if I had only just gone that one time, you know what I mean? I could have gotten so much of a head start. Now I'm chasing down masters.
Right. I had a guy who lived
And I still
with
can't
me.
throw 400 feet.
Yeah.
I had a guy who lived with me in Illinois, and he played disc golf. He actually is the guy who told me about Twisted Amanita shirts.
Okay.
And he never introduced me to the game, and I regret that. I mean, I said, that man right there introduced me to disc golf 3 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. I love this game.
Okay.
My very first game was at Barfield in Murfreesboro years ago, and then I didn't play for years. And we moved for work up to a little town called Marinette, Wisconsin, that he currently still lives at and runs and operates a group up there. And there was a city park not far away, and it's called City Park. And we went and bought the starter pack Innova from Walmart, and ever since we were hooked. And then it wasn't long after, we built our course, and here we are now,
So you said your first time was at Barfield. How long ago was that? When did you start?
Oh, man. It was probably 15 years ago, I'd say.
Okay.
And then I probably didn't play again for probably 10 years, I'd say.
What was the trigger that brought you back?
Well, we moved up to that little town, like I was saying.
Okay.
And,
There's
and
really nothing
there was
else
nothing to do but
in Marinette,
drink,
Wisconsin.
drink
Besides
and play
drink.
disc golf.
Okay.
So
Jason, how long have you been playing?
6 years.
6 years? And what got you into it?
Just working up there in Wisconsin, nothing to do.
You saw somebody
stayed
playing, or you knew somebody that played?
No, it's just
You just
researching
okay.
stuff to do. There's a course in the park. Let's go do it.
How long did it
Just
take you to
fell in
become
love,
obsessed?
It was instant hook.
Instant.
Started collecting now, 500 disc collection, 20-hole course at the house.
How long did it take to get your first
I
ace?
make minis for tournaments.
Yeah, let's check this out.
let's
Hold that up for the camera there. You got it. Yeah, Jason brought us these mini discs that he made by hand with his own two little hands. And just look at that tooling on there. And show them the back, too, because the back's got tooling as well.
Found Your Mini is my brand. I'm providing trophies for all Nashville Disc Golf Store events this year.
That's awesome.
And Wings Disc Golf in Appleton, Wisconsin. All of their events this year as well.
Yeah, get a good look at this one here, too.
Yeah, that's for my Instagram giveaway winner, my 250
You have
followers.
it upside down.
Good catch.
I still
Good
have
catch,
to. I still have
Justin.
to put some poly on it for him.
Is something not right about this? Okay. There we go.
Yeah, and actually a friend of mine up in Wisconsin, Matt Syme, Treasure of the Forest, he makes minis out of epoxy and wood on the lathe. So he kind of inspired me to start doing what I'm doing as a tournament director and league.
Okay.
League director up there. It's nice to make your own trophies as well, you know.
Absolutely, that definitely comes in handy. Or at least being able to get them donated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm constantly leaning on the good nature of my friends that are artistically talented.
I'm donating the trophies for Flying Colors. What is it? The Women's State Disc Golf Champions?
Yes.
I'm donating the trophies for that.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you. Because that's huge. More women's only tournaments. I think I love seeing that. That's great. Because like we were talking about earlier, disc golf is for everybody. You know.
Oh yeah.
And I've always said, you know, everybody talking about growing the sport. You're not growing it responsibly if you're not growing it for everybody. If it's only for the people making all the money at it, you know what I mean? Then that's where you kind of border on territory where you're in danger of losing or jeopardizing the spirit of it. And that's where, like, you know, we had people like our friend Steve Kearns, who was recently on the show. That's kind of his whole point of view, you know, and it stems from disputes with the PDGA back in the 90s and stuff when Nashville was still like a disc golf destination at that time in the early years. And now it's, you know, he's totally opposed to anything to do with growth in the game or it being like in the mainstream and stuff like that, because he doesn't want it to lose its spirit. He doesn't want it to ever not be what he fell in love with, and that special place and that special time with special people, and that, you know, because the way the world is evolving, you're losing so many things like that are truly connective and that bring you together with other people, and in a real way, in a tangible way, not in a virtual kind of way. Right. And so that I think that something like disc golf becomes increasingly valuable when you're on a trajectory like human society has been. But you know, the more you see the coverage on these major tournaments and these courses are all looking like golf courses and stuff like that, and then people are concerned that you're kind of moving away from what disc golf is or what the spirit of it is. You have places like the Broken Still where you guys are setting up a backyard course where you know it's a more intimate, tight-knit kind of thing, and you're planting a seed there in your backyard that a disc golf community can grow around. You know, you talk about Springfield right now. Ogwood's been there since 2014 or so, 2013, and now you're talking about the Disc and Disciples and Jordan Webster. They're working on getting a course installed at J. Travis Price Park there in Springfield. So now it's like that's how it starts. Is you get a little bit of awareness,
plant a seed.
Yeah, a little bit of visibility to some people that don't know what it is, and I mean, and once they see the benefit and the value of it, and it has value to everybody, especially if you're talking about a parks department, because they're thinking, you know, we have this space. Nobody's using it except homeless people or drug dealers or whatever. And like, if we could, and you see, like, that was a big turnaround at Cane Ridge. We built those courses out on that back side of the park where a bunch of nefarious stuff was going on. Once the courses were in and that foot traffic went up and we started having events there, the parks police guys would come up to us and say, man, we love you guys and what you're doing here. It's like, it's pushed all that stuff that was going on here to this other area of the park that we can more easily patrol and like monitor.
Right.
And that is a huge benefit of it. And also the fact that when people are designing courses now, things like erosion and terrain management and stuff like that is always a consideration. So there's land there that could eventually get washed out in a river valley like we live in, and these heavy rains coupled with tornadoes and stuff that are pulling all sorts of trees down on our courses and stuff like that. You can build a disc golf course to make the land that it's on better.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, if you think about Seven Oaks, the way it's constructed, I don't know who started the irrigation road ties there, but Mike McDaniel has definitely done a good job of maintaining that course as far as like making sure that, the pieces of wood that you see that are angled when you're walking up hole 6 and when you're going down hole 7, it's like, up hole 5 and going down hole 6 to around a hole 6, around a hole 7. You can just tell that the erosion and the maintenance from that course is definitely kept it to be one of the more popular courses over the years, if you ask me, because some courses you really don't want to play when it rains, but Seven Oaks you can play anytime.
yeah, and that's another opportunity to pay homage to the great Ben Northcutt, because he was the person that originally started all of that infrastructure. That because Kearns mentioned when he was on the show that it was a swamp. It was water just drained all through there, and all of that area was not usable. It was just a messy nothing. And they built that course around it in a way that channeled the water and kept the land from washing away and protecting the roots of the trees and all that sort of stuff. And now, like Marcus said, for years, and it's like once every couple months I'll see somebody post, some new random person will post on Nashville Disc Golfers, what's the best course to play after a rain? It's Seven Oaks. It can rain hard for an hour, and 15 minutes later it's playable.
Yeah.
I miss the Willow.
Yeah, that was
that
was a hard loss. That was a heavy hit right there.
Now everybody goes up the middle.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It's
Everyone
Mando.
goes up the
The
middle.
T
Yeah.
sign says there's a Mando right there.
Yeah, that's an old T sign. We don't play that with a Mando.
Really,
anymore.
I did. Last
Yeah.
time I was there, I played the Mando.
Well, yeah, and I can understand why you would. And that's a big thing is because there used to be Mando signs up on those two trees right there with arrows pointing in the, all away from the middle. But going through the middle was always a bad idea to begin with, because that willow, even if you made it through all that tangly mess at the front of that little island, you get to the back side and that willow is just a catcher's mitt.
Oh yeah.
So,
Worse than a cedar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and they flex just like chains in a basket. They just kind of give enough to catch it and knock it down. Yeah. And then once it gets down, you're in that swamp.
Yep.
With knee-high grass that you can't see anything through. And then you're like, oh, it might be over here.
The swamp came from the underground water main or water source.
Yeah, spring.
natural
It's
spring.
spring fed.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Is it right there at hole 1?
It came, I guess, halfway between the baskets on hole 1, right? And there used to be a big tree right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like right in between there, you can like see where the water was like used to.
Yeah, that big oak.
Okay.
Used to come down, and it goes right straight through where the willow was, and continues down through the rest of the course.
Right.
Literally.
Yep. Probably drink it. Probably just fine. Probably won't hurt you a bit. Antioch water. Yeah.
Drainage is a big problem up there in Wisconsin on a lot of our courses. Over by Green Bay, it's basically swampland in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's real marshy
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had heard. But that's what makes it good
Cedar
for farmland.
marshes.
Yeah, that's what makes
Yeah,
it.
what hole was it where you would throw off the hillside over all that, and it would be a swamp every time?
That's hole
in the
8.
spring?
It's best
Yeah.
played in the wintertime when it's frozen.
So you said you played 173 courses.
Yeah.
Is most of that up there in the Midwest?
I've played them from Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin. As my trips back and forth between my job at the Frist, I just stop and play the 9-hole course today.
Okay, awesome. You're just
So
knocking them off.
everything down Highway 57. I've pretty much played Interstate 57.
So what's the
Few
favorite?
in Terre Haute, in Indianapolis.
Favorite
you ever-
course?
Sorry, go for it, Marcus.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what was the favorite course out of the ones you played? Top 2.
Top 3.
I don't know,
Top 5, dead or alive.
I really like the canyons. That was
The
a fun
canyons
course when
is
we
always
traveled,
great.
man.
Rolling Ridge and
Rolling Ridge is phenomenal.
brilliant.
all the
Just those names sound epic.
Yeah.
It's like I've never been there. Like, oh,
Pathway
wow.
of the Gods. My buddy Matt Syme with Treasures of the Forest. He designed a course on a private property. It's 18. Yeah, it's on a 500-foot bluff on the Mississippi River, basically.
Oh wow.
You see eagles flying underneath you when you're teeing off his back porch.
Man, that's awesome.
It's a crazy. Justin Trails up there, Sandy Point.
I've heard of Sandy Point, yeah.
Blue Ribbon Pines.
Blue Ribbon Pines.
Clip City. There's some good stuff in Marquette, Old
Yes.
Town.
Disc golf name dropping.
Yeah, just tell us your top 173. disc
Top
golf
100.
courses.
Yeah.
I got to play Ozark Mountain course before they closed it up. Spencer
yeah.
Davis, and that was some fun stuff.
Yeah. You ever use the
Iffy Hollers.
Iffy
that's-
Hollers
Oh,
you
yeah,
ever
yeah,
played
yeah.
up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
been on the list for a while.
I'm hoping.
Any
that
Holler in the Hills
comes
fans?
I have not played there yet.
Haven't
Oh,
made
dude, you got to
it.
go check it out.
No.
You owe it to yourself.
I played Greg Shear's place, Goat Path, up
Yeah,
there.
Goat
Yeah.
Path is great.
You
I
would
met
love-
him actually in Wisconsin. My buddy Casey Shefelt and his private course, the Shoe Pond. That's how I met Greg up there and played
Man,
his course.
Holler in the Hills would you would lose your mind. That's like
So-
right in your wheelhouse
I
for
gotta
sure.
I gotta get
Where's
over and
it
play
at?
that.
It's in Brownsville, Kentucky, so it's just north of Bowling Green a little ways.
It's not too far.
No, you get
Yeah,
up to
from
like
here.
Mammoth Cave and you get off the 65, and it's probably like a 20-minute drive after that. It's a little hard to find, but Mickey Pennington is a good guy to talk to about that. If you want to go out there and play it, they run doubles and stuff out there.
Mickey's a cool guy. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, Mickey is a good dude.
Yeah, we have a small club called the Disc Appointments that we
The disappointment.
We live up to our name too.
we're like the home group at the Still, and
Okay.
this year we were gonna start doing destinations like every couple of months, to where the whole
Destination tag
group,
rounds.
destination tag rounds, where the whole group goes out and tries to play somewhere. And we
Yeah.
were trying to do it by doing private courses, and being owners, reaching out and just letting people know that, hey man, there's beautiful private courses out here, and if you find these people and reach out, they'll let you play.
There's a bunch that are on my list that I would mention. So if I don't mention them, it's not because of the course itself, but stuff that I have experience with that I would recommend for you guys if you're looking for destinations. Definitely Holler in the Hills. Definitely Bud Hill. That's one you definitely got to go to.
But he was awesome.
Have you been to? Have you ever played Cloudland Canyon?
Mm-mm.
So it's it's right outside of. It's not even before you get to. It's like right before you get to Chattanooga, and you get off of the 24 and you go into Georgia, and it's like maybe 5 or 10 minutes across the Georgia state line. And you get off and you go up this mountain, and they got this state park up on top of this mountain, and they have a disc golf course,
Nice.
and it's awesome. So that's a good day trip, though. Like what we did was we met at Cloudland Canyon in the morning, played around, went into Chattanooga, got lunch, and then went and played the Sinks.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes for a good day of disc golf.
Yeah, it'd be great if you just like skip the sinks and then go somewhere else. I like tough courses,
Nah, we
man,
love
but
the
there's
sinks. We love
not many lines at the sinks, man. It's
Just too tough.
I haven't
Okay.
got down
I
that way
think
yet.
Marcus maybe just hasn't had much success at the Sinks. I went down there with 5 of my buddies and beat all of them, and I had a real good day. So I love the Sinks.
I like
There's
going
video
to courses
evidence.
that beat me.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
going to courses that beat me.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's way too many of those. I like the ones that I can win. that I can
I like
do well.
courses that beat me like on the first try, but I don't like the third and fourth try.
Oh,
Yeah. Like,
Gotta figure them out sometime.
Yeah,
There's a special
you're
place for
I
those
just live too
courses.
far away.
I love Cedar Hill. I've never scored par on there.
I never shoot par unless I'm playing against DJ.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Good
3 or
competition.
4 down. Take that, boy.
Get it.
Yeah, there's something about a course too that's like off in the mountains or in the lower, basins of them that you just can't beat that terrain. It's just made for those grand shots. Where
Yeah.
almost everything you look at is just like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool courses. The first course that I ever played is a place called Doxon Ranch. And it's my buddy Doc's place out in White Mountain Lakes, Arizona, right outside of Sholo. And I played it with him and my best friend. And it's a private course. And so he's got this cabin out in the high desert up in the mountains, probably like 6,500 feet elevation. And so the course, 2 9-hole clover leafs from the back of his house. The first hole tees off from the deck on the second floor of his cabin. So you've got
Nice.
this crazy view, and you throw out, and then you play 9 holes, and it's so each 9 holes starts and ends at the bar.
Nice.
So in the bottom floor of the house, you go in the sliding glass door, and it's like a putting green area out in front. But then you go in, and it's a bar, full length bar, and the guy's a Maker's Mark ambassador, so everything in the room is Maker's Mark merchandise. It's big screen TV, wall of DVDs, wraparound couch, pool table, wall of discs to choose from to go play, dartboard. There's a poker room, a jam room with musical instruments set up, a guest bedroom. It's intense.
When are we going?
I know, right?
I need to go back, man. We
Talk-
need to make
I-
a trip.
talk me
I need
into
to go
it.
back. You hear that?
Yeah.
It's a we.
Sounds like he's got some ideas for
Well,
the
I'll take
spill.
y'all with me. I'll take y'all with me.
It's like we're 5 strong right now. We
go.
need to go back.
But then right in that area is Sholo City Park, which is where I played my first league, which was run by Pete Ulibarri, Paul Ulibarri's older brother. And then there's also a newer course there called Ironside Bluffs that they played in the Arizona State Championships, I think, last year. And because I know Jennifer Allen was there, but my friend Manny Duran was one of the TDs out there and stuff. Okay. So, yeah, really cool, like mountain type, pine forest, high elevation type golf. Really good stuff out there in northern Arizona. I got a bunch on the list, man, and I haven't had time to go play anything since I got on the board of directors for the club. But thankfully, I've washed my hands and put
Thank you.
put that in somebody else's lap now. So now I can go
I'm
play
doing
disc
okay.
golf.
Hey, my first tournament. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Killed it. Everything's still in my van.
Congratulations.
I still have not taken anything out of my van.
Yeah, that's how it
Dr.
goes.
Hoy, get your stuff.
You'd be hauling a tournament for a
Hour.
week after
Right.
the event. Yep.
Yeah.
You got to go to Dr. Hoy's house and back down that long alleyway behind his house to get to his
Yep.
garage. Unload it.
It's time to drop it off. Just let you know. Let me see. I like Franklin Simpson. I don't know if you guys played that. It's a long course, very similar to Dixon, but just like Dixon on steroids.
Take
Oh, wow.
somebody
You can
with
take-
you that knows that course if you go play it.
It's really nice. I'm telling you right now. But it's long, and it does have multiple tee pads, just like Dixon. We named Bud Hill. We named
Pause. Sorry. I love you. I have to pause. Franklin Simpson. Now, there are great shots. There are great holes. It's an H.B. Clark design, so just like Dixon. And so if you've played H.B. Clark courses and you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, he's known for certain quirky little signature things. Now, disclaimer, I love HB. He's a friend. He's been on the podcast before, and he's a legend in the sport. And he's done more for disc golf in Tennessee than probably many other people on a very short list.
Right.
But there are, from time to time, there's certain things that, from certain perspectives, I'm kind of like a championship course in a town with 7 disc golfers. It's kind of like unfortunate. And then Franklin Simpson. Have you guys ever heard of the HB walk?
No.
So it's one of the signature moves of H.B. Clark course design, where you have a half-mile walk between one hole and the next. And not much indication of which direction you're supposed to go. And the first time I ever played Franklin Simpson, I was out there. You remember my buddy Andy that caddied for me on Sunday? I was out there with him and my buddy Nick, and we went out there to Franklin Simpson's. And it was fun. I enjoyed playing the course. It's a great course. I think it's between 10 and 11. You have to walk a damn country mile to get to the next hole.
You gotta walk clear across a parking lot. Yes.
It's not even. There's a parking lot plus. Don't let him fool you. But
And
he's
a
tricky
soccer
this
field.
one.
Okay. It's a parking lot and a soccer field.
Okay, yeah. See, now he's getting a little bit. You're getting more of an accurate picture of the scenario here. So, me and my buddies are walking, and then eventually, like, if you had a drone camera like overhead of us, we were like doing one of these where you're like wandering out this way, and then going this way, and then going back where you came from.
There are no signs that say where the next hole is as far as that hole is concerned.
And we finally saw one other person 2-3 football fields away, and I'm like, hey! 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 And he finally like looks up the hill. Hey! Where's the next hole? And he goes, that way! Just keep walking!
I can totally believe that too.
Thanks. So yeah, we walked that way. Found the next hole. Completed. It is a long course. It's very
The
challenging.
takeaway is install direction signs. so
There's
you
a
know
lot
where
of
you're
epic
going.
shots out there. They got this downhill like tunnel shot that's really fun right after the one you're talking about.
Yep.
You know, you go into the woods. Of course, you got to go into the woods for a little bit. You guys never played or had a chance. I don't know if you all had a chance to play the Fontenelle.
I haven't played Fontenelle.
Never
Yeah.
did, no.
Yeah, I got to play the front 9 before it was ripped out.
400-foot downhill shot. Very similar
Mountain
to the one
Doom.
that you were talking about.
Yeah,
But
where
you
the
can
whole
see- you
course
can see
was
the
designed to
basket the
get to
whole
that one shot.
But yeah, I haven't had a chance. To
I don't
play Harmon
care.
Hills
I don't
yet.
care where 1 through 7 stop.
Yeah.
Get me to the top of the mountain.
Right. Right.
What else are we doing here?
Harmon Hills? Anybody?
I've
See, that was
heard of
one that I
Harmon
haven't
Hills
played.
before.
That's one that I haven't played that I was gonna. It's a noteworthy mention because if they're
Didn't make it there. No.
yeah
Not
that
yet.
phew, that's on the list.
You guys are gonna have to like write these down
Yeah.
or send them to me.
Just,
'cause
hey, this will be on YouTube forever, man.
will I? I had no idea.
Harmon
you guys were
Hills
on
is
YouTube.
like one of
Yeah.
the top 10.
Forever.
What's YouTube?
Right. It's in the top
It'd be on the
Tube.
YouTubes.
Did a tube you.
Yeah, Harmon Hills. Tim and Donna Barr are awesome people. Teammates. Latitude 64. I know Tim's Latitude 64. I think Donna is too. But yeah, they own Harmon Hills, and you know Zach Melton. That's Zach Melton and Dickerson's stomping ground up there.
Okay.
So private course, but just monstrous and beautiful and meticulously maintained, from what I've been told. And definitely,
Yeah. It was
Definitely
like
need to
27 holes of you better bring a backpack and some water.
And a launch.
it's an experience. Basically, is the main bullet
And
point.
it's privately owned, you said?
Yeah, it's on some
That's
private
amazing.
property. Yeah, and you're seeing more and more of that, and I think that trend's just going to continue. You're gonna, and maybe not even so much as far as like, because obviously as we were kind of getting around the subject of being limited in what you can do with a small amount of property that you know that's your home. Like, and Ogwood is a great example of that because it's perfect for running events because it's private property, so you don't have to get you don't have to get anything. It's private property. But, you know, if you're going to have 100, 110 people out there, you better be able to think on your feet. And, you know, it's just, it's one of those things. But that also contributes to making it as special as it is, too. You know, it's part of, you know, it's almost like they call it building a premium or establishing a premium. But long the short of it is that I think that more people are going to be buying pieces of land to develop specifically for disc golf and having more creative business models and stuff to make it self-sufficient and things like that.
Well, if they're anything like Philip, awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Dude is amazing.
The successful ones I know up in the Midwest, like Rolling Ridge, Blue Ribbon Pines, they sell alcohol. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's having the bar and the pro shop on site.
Yep.
That's how you make money.
Yep. And
You know.
that is definitely
Get them drunk and they'll buy more plastic.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at a bunch of disc golf destinations, and you've got that kind of thing, like Blue Ribbon Pines, Maple Hill. What's the other one? I'm drawing a blank now, but
There's a whole lot more pay
Ben,
to play
I'm thinking of,
golf up there in Wisconsin and Michigan.
Bevel Brewing
as well.
in Oregon, Bend, Oregon. Nate and
Heard that
Val's
one.
place.
Mhm.
Nate and Val's place. They have the
Nate Val's.
brewery. Yeah. Yep. And now you look at the Anheuser-Busch place in Fort Collins, Colorado. They've got a disc golf park, which, if you guys aren't familiar with disc golf park, it's kind of a offshoot of Discmania. It's one of UC Maresma's brainchildren, but it's specifically designing park spaces for disc golf. So
Awesome.
they've got a lot of really awesome courses under their belt. I think they just recently finished one within the last couple of years in the Pittsburgh area. But one of our locals, and I always mix up their names because they're brothers, Steve and Dave Brode. One of them lives in Franklin and plays our events, and one of them works for Disc Golf Park and for UC and stuff. And so we've talked to him because they were tied into the Pro Tour at one point, and back in the day when I was deliberating on whether I wanted to chase down an NT or a Pro Tour. And back then it was a different landscape, you know?
Oh yeah.
No, well, I'm about to give hot
Way back
takes.
then. Seems like you're about to go back in a Wayback
know.
Machine right
Yeah.
now. It's like,
I'm about to give exclusives that might get me in trouble too, so
I want to sip your drink before you go here.
I might just
What better
pump the
place than
brakes
your
on
own
that one.
podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there was a time when I could just ramble off for hours
Way
and never
back
have to worry
when.
about anybody ever hearing it. But there's been a couple times where I've said some stuff and he's said some stuff, and then the next day I'm waking up looking at text messages from people like, "Hey, you were on Smash. They were talking about you on Smashbox last night." I'm like, what were they talking about? All that stuff you weren't supposed to talk about.
And it's on YouTube forever.
Indeed, I come by it honest, and I own it. But yeah, that's a weird thing too, man. getting to the point where it's like there's all this cool stuff happening and you want to just tell everybody that's the only thing you want to do and you can't tell anybody. Like right now, it's just like we touched on some things. I want to tell you guys about something, but I can't tell you.
In-house.
That's what we got. Yeah.
Just let people know, hey, exciting things to come.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I have a lot of things with my mini making and making bag tags as well. Other stuff I want to push into that I can't talk about a whole lot.
Yeah. So this
Bring
is.
it up. Bring it up.
Obviously,
Yeah,
you know
nice.
you know very well what
Planting
you're
the
doing
seed.
because that is expert wood burning and really intricate designs. And the first thing when I picked one of these up that I noticed was the feel of it in my hand. Obviously, it's a mini. It's somewhere between like your traditional mini and a junior
I
disc.
try to keep them 5 inches
Yeah.
in that area.
Well, you see, like the junior
a
discs
Firebird
from
mode.
the junior discs from DD, they're like more like this. Probably they're like a
Yeah,
little bigger
yeah.
in diameter, and then these are bigger than a regular mini. Probably like less than.
Most of your standard ones are about 4 inches to 3 3/4.
But if you guys can see the beveling on that rim, when you put your fingers around that feels like a fairway driver. Like that feels like a Firebird or a Felon or something.
Definitely
like that.
Firebird.
Yeah.
Or what's this one? Criminal.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The flared out rim. I mean, that's really good work. Is basically what I'm trying to get at here. I think
it's kind of how my style's evolved into over the past year. That's what I
So-
like.
this all by hand. How long does one of these take you to make?
I got a couple hours in each one.
Nice.
Damn.
The laser printer, knocks that print out in about 15 to 20
Those are
minutes.
trophies I wouldn't donate. Unless it's to me, of course, when I run my next tournament.
Stack of trophies you make for yourself. Like, I'm amazing.
Yeah, that's about. I got about 2 hours really.
Look at this trophy I made. I want to
Yeah.
make another one because I'm awesome.
Well, man, anytime, like, because I know, as you said, you're getting into doing trophies for events and stuff like that, and you're working with Groton and them and all that. Anytime you have something that you want to get out there, we can do some kind of little promotion where we'll do a giveaway and I'll add a little commercial to the beginning of the of a couple episodes or something like that. If you have an event coming up, let me know. We'll definitely.
Would you say
I
May?
think May 22nd will
22nd.
be our next Broken Steel Open rehearsal.
Dress rehearsal.
Prototype championship version .145.
This is the first time hearing of that, but yeah.
Okay. May 22nd. That's the day after my mom's birthday.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Mom.
That's the day after my birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
I'm a Taurus. May
May
16th.
21st is my birthday.
That's my mom's birthday. That's crazy.
This is like the Batman Superman moment.
Right, Martha? My birthday is actually the Women's State Championships, where I talked my non-disc golfing wife into volunteering with me.
So what do you get?
To play
What do you
disc
mean?
golf.
Well, they've got
I know I get to volunteer at the tournament.
they've got a
That's-
distillery right there, though.
Miss Ruth Miller talked me into doing that. so.
Yeah, she's talking a lot of us into that.
Hey, disc golf, I'm there.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm team disc golf all the way. And honestly, man, there's one, Ruthie's one of those spots where the first time I met her, well, no, that's not true. The first time I remember meeting her, she was just there helping us with something that we were doing, like an outreach event or something like that. And every time I've had a work day or needed help with something, like she comes running. And so if she asks me for help, that's a hard person for me to say no to, because I hold her in very high regard. So, and that's just, also people that are true blue and like salt of the earth and just good humans to each other, man. I feel like that needs to be reciprocated and appreciated more because it's a dying art. Like just being good to each other, like being decent.
Well, we can try to get her some more help out there February 13th at Short Mountain Distillery.
For sure. So, February 13th is the day.
They got a work day going on.
Work day at Short Mountain. So get in touch with Ed Birdie. I imagine he's going to be the person coordinating the work day at Short Mountain.
I would imagine.
And on February 13th, if you guys are available, head out to Short Mountain and help them get the course ready for the women's championship. Is it women's doubles or just women's disc
No,
golf?
the
Tennessee.
state doubles is the 27th, and then March 6th is the women's state championship.
Okay, so we got the state doubles championship on the 27th and the women's championship on March 3rd.
Yep.
March 6th?
6th.
March 6th.
Yep.
Okay. Talk to Ed. But yes, on March 6th, we do need volunteers. And this is kind of the same thing as I say whenever we do the Firefly Fling, which is Nashville's installment of the Women's Global event. This is an event that's special. It's for women only, but that doesn't mean boys aren't allowed. Stay home and smack each other in the head with tennis rackets.
Help.
Get out and support the cause, man.
Come caddy. Yeah, come caddy or see if the
Spot.
TDs need help. Spot.
Something.
Bring lunch.
Can let some of the ladies show you how it's done.
Yeah, man. And they're just way more fun anyway to hang out with. They're not as, I don't know. Women always seem to be like more laid back when it comes to things that guys get uptight about in disc golf. I don't know what it is, but
Less macho, maybe?
maybe. But I know like the last Women's Global event here, I carried a bag and pulled a cart. So it's like, and you don't even have to throw. You just walk around.
Yep.
You guys can do it. It's super easy.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll make it for a really special day for the ladies. And that's really what it's all about, is to make the day as special and as enjoyable for the ladies as it possibly can be. So come on out on March 6th and check that out too.
Golf snaps?
Golf snaps for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
golf snaps. Yeah. Then what else has we got coming up that we were going to talk about? May 22nd, next event at the Broken Still. Now, when you're not in town, what's the procedure for people to follow to go out there and get a chance to play your course?
My dad's house number is on UDisc and
Okay.
DGCR. You can just call the house, see if he's around.
Hit up the Broken Still.
If it's on a
We
weekend,
got to come up with a better system than
it's-
that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're going to
We've
eventually.
got 2 Facebook pages. We've got the Broken Still Throwing Club.
And you guys are you pretty responsive to messages
yeah.
and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
You
And
know.
then there's also the
I know
disc.
what to assume.
There's also the our local group, the Disc Appointments, that you can also make contact that way as well.
There are typically people there
Yeah.
every day. So,
Okay.
every afternoon somebody's
Yeah.
usually
Mhm.
playing.
Yeah,
awesome.
Grady was out there
Weekend for
today just
sure.
playing alone.
And and Grady's cool with that. The whole arrangement.
He
of
loves it.
people just
Oh
showing
yeah,
up.
he loves
randomly?
it.
he loved
That's
Once he
just-
kind of gets to
and,
know
yeah.
who you are, he probably doesn't want to play with
Make-
you as much.
If you come out there, you've never been there
He likes
before.
new people.
If you come out there, you've never been there before. Make yourself known. Don't just
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out
yeah,
there
yeah.
and start throwing.
Hello at the house.
Right.
He just
Usually
put
Grady is
a
outside.
new sign up today, so it kind of gives you a little better idea of where to park.
Okay.
So we'll,
I mean, just the willingness and the hospitality involved in that. That's just such a rare, unique thing, man. And that always, still to this day and back then, blew my mind and blows my mind about Philip. His whole thing was he just wanted everybody to be able to go out there anytime and play his course, and he wanted to get up in the morning and drink coffee and sit on his couch and look out the window and watch disc fly.
Yeah, the first time that we played out there, like I said, we found our way out there after playing Eggland, and we found hole 1 and started playing. And on our way through the back, once we got back past his house, him and some friends were back there cutting some firewood, and they just welcomed us right up, and we started hanging out. And it's that kind of sense of community that has drawn me so close to the game. Just people just being willing and always nice.
And
How
somebody's got to do
it's
that, because I'm
refreshing,
telling you, if I got a little bit of land, a little bit away from the noise and hustle and bustle, and a bunch of people come pulling up my driveway, and I don't know you're coming, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't be as open as Philip is. That's special. I mean,
Takes a special person.
It does.
And
It
he
takes a
is.
special person.
He is.
Which is one of the reasons why we
well, it's special for you
decided to
guys
hold
too.
the
yeah.
fundraiser for him. Because when you find out somebody like that needs help, you're willing to.
In
do
this day and
whatever it
age, just to
takes.
open your home or your personal space in any way, shape, form, or capacity to strangers, that's just a big roll of the dice. And to be willing to roll the dice like that, I mean, you got to have a lot of trust and faith in your fellow man and really be a glass half full type person.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk for me, and honestly, and this isn't, in any way not to discourage anybody from getting involved in the sport, but after 4 years of administrating one of the biggest disc golf clubs in the country, I've seen a lot of disappointing behavior. We'll put it that way. And it's it's hard not to get a little bit cynical and jaded.
I've really only met one bad character out of my 6 years of playing.
I mean, it's very, very rarely any kind of big deal, but it's just like
Oh, he was pretty bad.
Name
Yeah.
drop.
I'm saying just in my own personal judgmental kind of frame of mind, I'm more of a skeptic when it comes to giving people the benefit of the doubt than I used to be. Or at least my instinct is more to be apprehensive and a little hesitant to open the floodgates with people. Whereas before, I've always, and my wife will tell you, that's been one of my big downfalls, is I'm always the guy that wants to help everybody. And I let people in way too close. And I'm like, let me help you with this. I can help you do this, and I can help you do this. And then, you know, you end up getting pulled down into the quicksand trying to save somebody. So, you know, now I'm kind of a little bit more guarded with people. And so, yeah, just to be opening your doors like that to people, especially the way Philip does it with, I mean, that place is world known now. I mean, everybody, I mean, it's high ranked on UDisc, and everybody knows about that place.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no getting around it.
Well, that's just something I learned from my traveling outlaw guys I know up in Wisco and the Lakers and the Soil and the Royal guys. Is I've stayed in 5 or 6 of those guys' house that I've never met before.
Yeah.
Just because of associations with fellow disc golfers. Oh, you're on the team? Come spend a night on your way through.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, really? Yeah.
And that's how
Awesome.
that's how the sport survived for decades.
Oh, yeah.
Was, you know, and it got to the point, I mean, it was at the point for a long time where if you were a touring player and you came to town and you didn't stay on somebody's couch, like people's feelings were hurt. Yeah. And that's just cool. And it's still that way to such a large extent, which is surprising and unlikely that we've made it this far and that spirit still perseveres. You know what I mean?
Disc golf. I mean, I've only been in the game a short time, but I can tell you the community is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, I've met so many great people, the Birdies and Phillip and these guys, and just ungodly amounts of people who are the kindest people ever. And it's, where have you been?
Yeah.
Where have you guys been?
The ratios are really surprising because normally you look at any large group of people or significantly sized group of people, and it's just percentages, man. It's like if you've got 100 people in a room, 10 of those people are wing nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They're spare parts. Like the 10 of those people might as well not be in the room if you had your druthers. So it's like, and normally that's a pretty fair universal gauge for most gatherings. It's like you have this many people, this many of them are going to be asshats.
Right.
And that's not the case in disc golf. I mean, honestly, it's more like 1 out of 100 is not a person that you would choose to spend time with on recreationally. You know what I mean? And by and large, everybody you meet is just like a strikingly solid person.
Welcoming, loving, even
friendly,
just crazy, and so supportive. You
Yeah.
know, from the beginning, you have people like Bobby who tell you, "Oh man, great shot," you know, blah blah blah. Even though you know you're not doing great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have people coaching you along, helping you, pulling you along, even though you're willingly going. And that's what has pulled me into this sport so much, is just the people itself, and I love it.
And Nashville is a little blue island in a sea of red, but in the South generally, you know, people can be a little close-minded, particularly in more rural areas.
Right.
But within disc golf, I mean, I've never met anybody that wouldn't welcome anybody in. I mean, we're such a weird, random assortment of people. You got pastors, and you've got drug dealers, and you've got homeless people and cops, and you've got, you know, all different walks of life that play this game. And it doesn't matter what you do when you're not on the course. When we're on the course, we're family.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of a given.
Put it all aside and throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much. I mean, you can go out and spend $15 to $50 and start building you a set and just go start playing, you know?
Most of the discs that I have got, people just give you, you know? You get a lot of people who are just generous.
Yeah.
You know?
Even in our small little disc deployment club, you got QAnon supporters and Antifa people.
And flat earthers
in
and
the same small
anti-vaxxers.
club. You know? You just never know.
Disc golf unites.
Well, and you know, another good opportunity to say this, and I think, you know, I understand why a lot of people would skirt around talking about it, but we've never been the kind of show where we don't really say what we're thinking. But I think it's awesome, and it's really important that right now there's so much attention being put into and a push going into diversifying disc golf. If you guys haven't noticed Justin's shirt, that's a Twisted Amanitas die on a Diversified Disc Golf t-shirt. Shout out to Sally Chapman, Rebecca Cox, and everybody at Diversified Disc Golf. But one of the important that it's very important that it's the awareness is being raised for people that are underrepresented within the sport. Women, kids, disabled people, all that stuff falls within that. Another thing that's worth mentioning is transgender people and groups of people that might just be particularly uncomfortable injecting themselves into groups of strangers, groups of random people. I mean, that can be dangerous for certain kinds of people in the South.
Any kind of sport can have like a toxic masculinity to it. You know, you get a group of guys around each other chucking things around.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, testosterone.
You know, that locker room talk.
And that happens.
It could, to an outside observer, it could sometimes probably be like, maybe I don't want to get into that, you know?
Yeah, and that happens, but I think that at the same time, when that does happen around the disc golf course, and I've seen it mainly and I always use the example of like when a pretty new girl comes to town and comes to league for the first time, and it's like guys like may not say anything directly to her, but they're saying things to each other within earshot that are making her uncomfortable. And I think that kind of thing, none of us would ever do intentionally, but part of this whole awareness thing, the idea behind it is for us to be more aware of ourselves and how we're acting and what we're saying and the environment that we're creating for the people that are experiencing this game for the first time. It's important. And the thing that's great about it is like I would say wholeheartedly, if anybody that's watching this has thought about trying disc golf or is playing disc golf and is concerned that something about themselves is going to cause backlash or kind of resistance within the community, I mean, for anybody watching, I think that the spirit of disc golf is intact, and we are not a judgmental group of people. And that's not why there's so many of these movements going on right now. It's just we're taking advantage of the opportunity to point out to people that, hey, this is a very accepting sport. It is for everybody.
You can do this too.
We wouldn't be walking through the woods with our friends if we were accepted by everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, man, and all of us in this room, we've all worn different uniforms at different times in our lives. And I guarantee you talk about 15-year-old you, each one of us in this room, if you were to go back now and talk to 15-year-old you and say, hey, in 2021, you're going to be doing this, I'd kick my own ass. like, no way. There's no freaking way. I'm not going to be, you know what I mean? Like, you just can't see it.
Right.
You know, and life, that's how life changes. You go from stage to stage to stage to stage. But, that's all to say that we're just not the same people from time to time. But, so, hey, if you're going to be judgmental against anybody, be judgmental against yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I wish there was a disc golf course near my house when I was 15.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Because there was a
park.
Rub
it in, bro.
I had one by my house.
There was a park, but I used to just go toilet paper the porta potties and like throw cherry bombs in there and stuff.
I would just play guitar and smoke pot, and
yeah,
that's it.
I mean, there's worse ways to spend your time than playing guitar. Yeah. So, what do you have? I mean, other than the minis, do you have any other? Because obviously you're a person that's oriented towards visual art in a certain way. So, do you have any other kind of products that you make or that you're thinking of making? Or and I'm not asking you to sell the farm on this podcast, but anything you can talk about that you might be thinking about getting into? Is the trophies and the merchandise kind of game is that really where you're hoping to carve a niche out for yourself within the sport?
Maybe at the moment. I'm probably looking in the next couple years to moved more back home and open up a shop there in Hickman County. Maybe sell discs there. If we can get more courses built down there, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things. There's no place to buy discs there except for one trophy store.
And they have a very limited selection.
Very expensive. They're like $25.
Dude, I was in the new Play It Again the other day. they've got lightning discs in there.
I heard they have a broken still disc in there.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they
okay.
do. I've been talking to the guy that owns it since before he opened the store and helped him get set up with DD stuff and whatnot. But I went in there to talk to him the other day. I was like, dude, you've got discs from like 7 tournaments I've ran on your wall over there. But no, that's awesome. I mean, because I think that's a really unique thing about where disc golf is right now is there's room for everybody to leave their mark and carve a little spot for themselves, you know? And this is super unique, and they're really well made, and they're beautiful. And it reminds me, are you guys familiar with Pyrohizer?
Yeah, we were like got some of their first bag tags.
Okay, so yeah,
I
years
still have
ago,
a bag tag, and one of their glass minis.
yeah. So when years ago,
Yeah.
when they were first starting out, they sent the club an email with like just a description about what they were making and some pictures and stuff, and said, "Would you be interested in a sample to look at and see if maybe you'd be interested in using them for trophies or prizes or stuff like that?" And I was like, "Well,
And they're like,
yeah."
"Nah, I hate free stuff.
And I'm like, send me some samples. So the current board at that time, we all, we got the samples in and we looked at it. And we were like, man, how we didn't have anything right on at the moment, but it was like, let's think about a way to use these. And so at some point, we used them a couple different ways. One year, they were the series trophies for the bag tag series at the annual awards banquet. And I remember me and Andrew Maley went to Home Depot and got these boards and cut them and drilled them and painted them and made these little stands for these glass minis that had like the custom artwork on them. But I remember when they came out and I was just looking at their stuff, I was like, man, this is just, so random but cool and really well done. And that's the same kind of way I feel about these. And I feel like that alone is really going to take off. And you could really follow it up with anything.
Everybody that puts one in their hand is really blown away by them.
There's a lot of detail. It feels like I've been to the
It
barn
also
already.
shows you just how much disc golf could take over your life. Like,
Yeah. You're just sitting there trying to make furniture or something, and you're like, next thing you know, you kind of zone out and you look down and you've made 5 discs. What are the...
just you start out with that
He's not an
Walmart
elf, Will.
starter pack, and then 5 years later, you're custom making minis for people all around the country.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I've pretty much got them from coast to coast right now, and I've only been doing it for a year, and really just my relationships with tournament directors up there, Brad Zaraski at Wings, Sean Grote at Nashville Disc Golf Store. That's just how it started to grow, and I don't know. Hopefully it snowballs and just keeps taking off.
We're gonna talk more after when we're off the air, but I think it's only appropriate if we get some for the next something that goes on at Ogwood. I actually have something in April, the day before the 3rd bag tag, beginning of April. The day before that, we're doing. I'm gonna have J Ray out with the Dynamic Disc RV, and we're gonna have an event, like a little warm up at Ogwood. I'll talk to him and see what it looks like, but we'll talk about it. I want to get some trophies from you made for something at Ogwood.
Sure.
This year, I think
No
that'd be
problem.
cool because those are awesome, and that's the kind of thing. It just kind of lines up. There's a certain aesthetic, a certain feel to Ogwood and to these private courses. This feels, you know what I mean? This has that loving, handcrafted, personal touch kind of vibe to it, where this isn't just like, something you bought in a store. You put this in your hands. You're like, somebody put a little piece of themselves into this. This is
From disc golf for disc golf.
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of good energy and
I've held a couple of wood handmade minis, and I just try to get above them.
yeah, yeah. These are
Put
incredible.
the bar
man.
where you want it to be.
I bet these things fly like Cracker Jacks.
I've been scared to throw it.
I do
kill
not.
somebody.
I do not recommend it. I have thrown.
What's the weight on it?
My very first one I made. It's highly
190.
understable.
Is it
I don't
190?
know
What's the weight on it?
I don't know about the current runs, but
Yeah.
It's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
That'll hold your papers on your desk.
It's 150.
You think?
150.
Grab a disc.
I've never weighed them. I never weighed any of them.
This one's lighter.
That's a good question. Then
No, probably a good thing.
Every wood is different,
slightly different.
different densities.
They're awesome though. The detail on that That is intense.
Yeah, don't get lost in that. I did.
Oh, you wouldn't want to see any of the bird's eye maple ones that I have. You would get lost
Yeah.
in those. Trust me.
Man, we got to get you a website. And
That's my next step is foundyourmini.com and trying to get it from there.
You have
It's
to hurry.
hard to do it all myself.
yeah.
You gotta hurry before this gets on YouTube. I'm just saying.
Just go ahead and raise your
tonight.
price point a little bit right
It's
now. We'll get you out on the.
Before you leave,
You got to get those
truck.
names.
interwebs.
You got to get it at like Venmo, Cash App, stuff like that.
Yeah, I just.
You got to get all those names, man. Because if you don't have it at Instagram, next week somebody's gonna have your Instagram name.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Instagram that's
Okay.
growing pretty good.
Yep.
Facebook page.
I'm always the person, like, as an example with the club, I'm like, somebody asks, can I pay with Venmo? And I'm like, why do you need to pay with Venmo? Why can't everybody just use PayPal? Like, why you got to complicate this so
Cash
much?
App, bruh.
Yeah. So,
Zell me.
or like Facebook, it's like, why do I need an Instagram? I got a Facebook page. I'm like, yeah, I'm like a fuddy-duddy. I'm like a curmudgeonly mudgeon.
What's wrong with my MySpace?
But I just jumped through all those hoops and got us on Instagram, and now we have a Facebook page and a Facebook group.
Did you get us a MySpace?
No.
Come on, dude. Don't leave those people out. Those
Tom
are
would be
original.
so disappointed, man.
You can't
Tom's
leave.
so
You can't leave the
disappointed.
MySpacers
Are
out.
there still people messing with that?
Dude, that application is still hot on the black market.
That application is still hot in Bulgaria.
You gotta get that
In
Last
Eastern
Cash
Europe.
podcast subreddit going. That way you can
Yeah.
Well,
really get.
I'm
moved.
working on a website. One of the things we were tossing around was possibly doing a Slack group to put on the website. Let's see. We got a couple updates that can talk about. So if you guys are listening on the audio, if you consume the podcast that way, our host, Anchor, is now making it possible for you to contribute to the show and support us if you would like to do so. This kind of works like a subscription, like a paid subscription, except you can choose the amount that you would like to contribute every month. You can set it up as an auto pay like you do with many other services, and just throw us a couple little Abraham Lincolns, couple pennies to rub together if you like the podcast and you're digging what we're laying down. But yeah, we were just touching on. I just jumped through all those hoops, so now we have a PayPal account that is lastcashpodcast@gmail.com. We have a Venmo that is at lastcashpodcast. Incidentally, also our Instagram at lastcashpodcast. We also have the Cash App that is the $ lastcashpodcast. You guys have been asking about discs. Well, you can see right there on your screen, some discs are coming as soon as they exist. The disc storks are on strike right now
pretty hot
from
disc.
Sweden.
That's a hot disc.
Yeah, but no, there are a bunch of updates on the warehouse. We will be looking at a restock here in the next month or so. So we will, as soon as there are some discs in the new warehouse, we will put our stamp on them. Thank you to Charlie Matthews once again for doing our graphics, our logo, all that stuff. And thank you to the graphics guys at DD and Emporia. But yeah, really excited about these discs. They're looking sweet. I'm going to stare at this mock-up for another 20 minutes before we end this episode, and I'm not going to talk about anything else but that pretty blue Frisbee with the Last Cash podcast on
Yeah, I
it.
felt like you teased me showing me that picture. And
Right.
It looks
not,
like
not having one
Yeah.
waiting on us.
Yeah, so
Looks like a
eventually
Seabird.
we will have those, and you guys can
Jason-
purchase those.
Jason and
Yeah, what
brought a gift.
discs will be stamped.
You will see.
Oh,
You will see.
Uh-oh.
TBD.
thanks.
Right now, I mean, I could choose from any of them and not get any of them because none of them exist.
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
entire spreadsheet
Okay.
of the order form is
Well, you
grayed
should
out.
have just said a disc then.
It will be on a desk.
There you go.
But yes, also Ogwood tags are coming in. Those have officially been ordered and paid for and are in production now from Falling Putt. Thank you once again to Falling Putt for always taking care of our bag tag needs. They do fabulous work and they're super easy to work with. If you, your course, or your club are in the market for bag tags, trophies, prizes, all kinds of other merchandise, if you're not looking for handmade minis, which you should definitely go to Jason Jones for, check out fallingputt.com because they got all kinds of awesome stuff. Also, here's some pictures of the warehouse. So this is the new space. That is huge. It is enormous. That you could put like upright goalposts from a football field in there.
Hopefully soon to be filled with discs.
Quite literally, you could drive a truck through this mug. But yeah, that's another picture of the racks. Another picture of the racks from kind of a corner there. You can see it's a lot of space. There it is before the racks went in. So there's trucks in there that day. There's team manager, Gabriel Alfredo Diaz Sereno, pulling some shelving being real responsible with his face mask, wearing it properly, and protecting his hands with looks like some pretty high-quality work gloves there that he probably got from Grainger for the ones who get it done. Come on, Grainger, with that sponsorship. Hit me.
Yeah, shout out to Granger.
Not there yet, but if you're listening in audio, you'll probably start noticing some ads. I just recorded one for Anchor. Anchor is going to be our first sponsor, so we'll have an Anchor ad that'll be playing on there. So don't mind the ads, guys. They're going to be real brief, and you're already listening to me run my mouth anyway, so you probably won't even notice them.
I never do.
But if you want to support the show, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and you want to see more, you can donate through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. You can subscribe through Anchor. Just go to Anchor and look for the Last Cash Podcast, and you'll see a support button on there. But the biggest thing you can do, please subscribe on whatever platform you're consuming the show. Tell your friends about it. Share it. Leave reviews. Give us a 5-star rating unless you think we're crap. And then keep it to yourself.
Just give a 5-star rating.
5 stars so I
anyways.
can
Save
change
that
my
for
hair.
the YouTube comments.
Continue to change my hair for every 5 stars we get.
Yeah. Boom. And so, yes, on that note, we're building the website. We're going to add a bunch of crazy stuff to it, including a web store, because once we have the disc, we're going to look at other merchandise as well. Woo! Breathe for a second. Okay.
A lot of words.
A lot of words. Also, subscribe, rate, review, please. And then YouTube, we've got a new custom URL. I posted about that today because we got over 100 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you, you guys.
First mile
Is that
marker
golf
hit.
snap worthy?
That's golf snap worthy. I mean, it's only 100. You know, that's small potatoes in the podcast game. But,
Shout out to those 100 though.
you know, it's almost, yeah, for sure. And it's, well, more like, yeah, like the 10 or so that really go hard in the paint. Like you guys and Justin Martineau is basically who I'm talking about. But no, because we have ideas. We're going to be creating a Patreon, and Marcus and I have been brainstorming about some different kind of content that we can do. Different types of episodes. We were taking some inspiration from, you guys remember MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000,
Okay.
where the guys would, you just have silhouettes watching something, talking a bunch of smack.
I just
So
saw a disc died with
that's
those
great.
guys.
That
Yeah.
gives me hope for the world. But we were thinking about maybe something like that, where we watch some disc golf coverage and provide alternate commentary, or something along those lines, some kind of MST3K vibe, or maybe we do little.
Is this going to be big hairy commentary, or
It could be. You might.
Okay.
You'll be able to tell which one Marcus is by the different shapes of his silhouette. Also, maybe some adventure vlogs where we go on a fishing trip, or we go do some random non-disc golf
Yeah,
things,
like
and
some locations, maybe like
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
rooftops in Nashville.
Some
I know-
hilarity
I know all the
ensues.
rooftops in Nashville, bro. We can do it in the sky.
that is creepy.
it's gonna be fun.
We can get like some background, like some good seats, some sights.
Yeah,
You know,
that'd be
get the
dope.
city.
Yeah. We can get some wireless mics, and yeah, it would be a pretty easy transition. But yeah, we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff, maybe blogs, other kinds of vlogs, different kinds of content like that. So let us know what you'd like to see as we move into that stage. We're going to be
I would like to see guerrilla interviewing, where you just run out of the woods up on somebody playing somewhere, ask them their opinion of the course and the shot, and then just run off again.
that's happening.
I'll videotape
Marcus.
it, okay?
Whiteboard.
it on the board.
Whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
Put a pin in,
I've
put a
always-
pin in
I've
that
always
one.
wanted to see that.
Put a pin in that one. I used to do
Guerrilla
kind of stuff like
interviews.
that with a video camera when I was in high school, but it was more like with firecrackers on a golf course.
Yeah.
Then yeah, shenanigans. So anything else you guys would like to get out on the airwaves?
Grow disc golf. Tell your friends about it.
Maybe you want to give us like a tip.
Just the tip, though.
Just a tip.
Just the tip. My
Pineapple.
only tip I give any disc golfer:
Here we go.
watch Scott Stokely videos.
Oh, see that, Scott? We're still pushing for you, buddy.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's all I can tell you.
How
He
about yourself?
simplifies it. He
He's coming
breaks it
back
down.
here soon.
You got a tip for us?
He said that he's going to play the still.
Yep.
So
3
Fingers
tips,
crossed.
1 episode.
3 tips, 1 up. Whoa.
Whoa,
Oh,
pineapple.
my.
Calm
I feel like
down.
I'm on the. I feel like I'm on the spot now.
You can
It
come
just
back.
got
You
real
are- you are
inappropriate
on the
in here.
spot.
Here we go.
Find every course around you and play them all.
I like that one. Hey, that's original.
U-disc, very handy.
Yes.
It's
Something
very
else I was
handy.
going to because you were talking about you play the courses along a certain road as you're driving in between here and Wisconsin. Have you ever messed with the road trip planner on U-disc?
No.
So it has like a little function where you can pull up a map with highways on it, and you can drag your route along the map, and every time you stop dragging your finger, baskets will pop up around where there are courses close to the thing. So you could look at it before you make your drive and just plan it out, and it actually will take you on directions. It'll say, instead of going down the highway and you have to look and say, oh, I'm going to this course, it'll say, get off the highway. It'll tell you, you can put it in what order you want to play them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that last year. I pretty much played everything down
between the
Interstate 57. I'm gonna start working on 65. I just don't like to drive through the big cities. My trips from Wisconsin
Yeah.
back to Tennessee, I'd rather avoid Indy and Louisville, Gary, Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment. It's hard to get your bearings when freeway, especially Nashville, because you've got like, there's a stretch of road right through Nashville where the 24, the 40, and the 65 are all the same road.
Yeah, we just took that coming over here from Maple Hill.
Yep.
Don't tell anybody you live off of Old Hickory.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, God,
Which
yeah.
one?
No, exactly.
It's
yeah.
kind of a loop around the entire city, but disjointed in unpredictable ways.
Is Nashville like the top city with like disjointed streets?
Probably. I think I heard a legend, like a myth, like an urban myth, that the guy that designed most of the infrastructure for Nashville was a notorious drunkard.
I mean, because like Bradley Parkway turns into White Bridge Road,
Yep.
and White Bridge Road turns into what, Woodmont or something like that.
Mm-hmm. There's a
And
bunch of roads that turn
Woodmont-
into other roads.
Yeah.
Doesn't Woodmont turn into something else if you go further down?
Yeah, and then you got like Wedgwood and Blakemore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then like just Old Hickory Boulevard out here on the west side. You go Old Hickory Boulevard, Old Hickory Boulevard. Oh, got to go right or left on Highway 100. If you go right, you'll never see Old Hickory Boulevard again. If you go left, it's just maybe a quarter of a mile down the road. You can turn right and keep on going.
Well, if you go right, you go to Trace Creek.
Right? Yep.
And if you keep on going, you'll find your way to the still.
Yep. Yep.
If you turn
Straight
right on
down
100.
100.
Seemed like it was done on purpose.
It's like big circle.
It's a big circle.
It all comes full circle. I don't think, did we get just a tip from Jason?
Well, one more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
You
We gave you a little time.
Life is like a conch shell.
Was that English?
A conch shell.
Conch?
Conch shell.
Fibonacci sequence.
Gosh, yeah.
Fibonacci sequence.
Circle.
Just keeps getting bigger as it gets outward. Starts small, keeps getting bigger as it gets outward.
like Lord of the Flies. Give us the conch.
Are you doing T signs like this for your course? You guys got T signs like this for your course?
We have
No, my dad has made all of them. He's painted rocks.
we have stone T signs.
That were
I
from
think
My
I've
dad's a
seen
mason.
a
From
couple
a
of
stone.
those. Nice.
And Grady is the one that you sent me the video of playing the flute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So stay tuned. You guys, once this posts and stuff, I'll include either in the preview or in some sort of fashion, I will include, there's a really cool video of Jason's dad, Grady, playing Navajo flute music, in which I'm a sucker for that because I moved out here from Arizona and a lot of Native American influence in my background and family. And so that music, there's something about it. It's just like,
He's
Yeah.
been very successful at it. He's played with like Ray Stevens and
really?
Farmer
He
Jason.
appeared in a
and
music video.
he was
for Ray
nominated for a
Stevens.
Native American Music Award.
Wow. Man, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on him because I follow a bunch of Navajo flute players and stuff, like David Moracle and a bunch of people. I used to go to see him at casinos out west all the time. There'd be like 20 old people in the casinos chain smoking. I'd be like,
That's the life.
that's the life. I just want to be playing a wooden flute. 20 old people.
It's that flute life.
Yeah,
Smoking.
but both of my parents are very involved in the Native American community in Tennessee.
Okay. Very cool. Any heritage there in the
Yeah,
family?
some Cherokee and Shawnee, I think. And
Yeah.
No Chickasaw.
I don't think so. No.
That's where you come by your wild man? Yeah.
I think
Is
that's
that
I
a
think that's the
stereotype?
German part.
No, I mean, it's, look at you guys. You're wild men. Come on. You come in a podcast with leopard print. You guys are rocking the ZZ Top beards.
I'm a
Come
real wild one.
on. I'm a real wild one.
Speaking of like instruments, I'm getting married soon.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
My fiance wants to bring somebody with a harp, like a harpist.
A harp player.
I don't know how I feel about
Could do,
this.
you could do. You could do
That
a,
could be weird.
Just saw a hip hop song or hip hop or pop song played on the harp. It was actually pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that girl. Yeah, yeah. And that's the girl she wants too. She's
Okay.
like, yeah, we can get her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure for like $12.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be cheap.
Yeah.
Flute and harp actually works really well with hip hop.
Violin.
surprisingly.
is
Oh yeah, strains are
amazing.
good. Yeah, strains
Amazing.
are dope.
Yep.
Yep. As
This man knows about instruments. Go on, tell him about yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm the lead singer for a band called Chunder. We're based out of Fairview, Tennessee, not far from where I live.
did we miss another opportunity for
Yeah.
a musical performance?
You did.
Right.
Shit.
We're working on putting out our first studio album this year.
Round 2.
Well, that's awesome news.
Yep.
I haven't often. This hasn't happened in a while. I parental advisory myself. It's usually Jay.
Right.
I've warned these guys before.
Yeah.
So,
No, and the
He
funny
gave us
thing
a
is,
talking
man,
to silence your phones and don't
Yeah.
curse.
silence the phones. That's helpful. The don't cursing thing, I really have given up on. Like there was a time when we were audio only, where if you go back to the MCDG podcast early days when it was only audio. And you'll see there's like a couple episodes where I tried laying down bleeps, and I'd get real meticulous and spend all kinds of time doing it. And then I would go back and listen to it and find out there were like 8 different F-bombs that I just completely missed. And be like, well, all that was for nothing. And then I would just be kind of asking people, hey, don't try not to curse. And then it was, I remember one episode, and we've talked about this on the show before, but I remember one episode we were in Jay Skinner's room, and we were we had Telly on remotely somehow, I think through like Discord, audio only. We weren't able to see him, but I had to get up and go to the bathroom at one point. So I get up and go pee, and everything's kosher up to that point, very family friendly. I come back, and Telly is on one. He is just like, mother button whoa, and I came back and I'm like, what happened? And I'm looking at Jay like, did you give him the green light to cuss? And he was like, no permission was requested or given, sir. And yeah, apparently it was just like somehow Telly telepathically knew that I walked. Maybe that's why they call him Telly.
oh,
Telepathy.
it's a circle.
Oh, you're
It's
so,
like sicko.
you're so smart.
But yeah, so at one point I realized that there was never going to be any more bleeping, and then when we went to video, I added the parental advisory option where I can just click it if I need it, and so a lot of times I end up needing it, so it's not even a big deal. Now, every once in a while, I'll throw a bleep on there just because it's funny. You'll be like, you'll hear a bleep, all of a sudden it's like, hey, I wonder what he said there.
Yeah, just some innocuous word too.
The kids will never know. Yeah, so just, if you guys have your kids around when you're watching the show, just be aware. We have some characters on this thing. Every once in a while, a little stuff comes up that maybe we didn't intend to come out. Sometimes.
What had happened was,
Sometimes.
The things that we say on this podcast are not only not a reflection of any of our sponsors or affiliates, it might not even be an accurate reflection of what we ourselves actually think. There's a lot of freewheeling and shooting from the hip going on the Last Cash podcast, if you guys haven't gathered it.
Oh, y'all
up
didn't
to
get the
this point.
script?
That was one of the reasons why we separated from the club when we
okay.
used to be the MCDG podcast, was because at one point it was kind of like being talked about like, well, if you're if it's a representation of the club, then we should probably know what you're going to talk about, and then after the episode, we should probably know what you actually did talk about. And I'm going like, dude, I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Right.
what?
We better just go ahead and just steer this another
You want a
direction while we can.
transcript?
Yeah.
free?
Pay somebody to write you one, because guess who ain't doing it?
Yes, sir.
Not today. Not tomorrow.
It's like all the tournaments I run. I want to write stuff down and know who all to think and everything, and make sure I touch on everything I need to touch on, and I don't write it down.
Yep.
On about hole 3, then I'm like, oh, I meant to tell them we were gonna serve lunch.
Dude, I'm the worst about it. Like Alan, I remember before I became president of the club, like back when Alan was president, I would sit there and watch him writing notes on the back of a scorecard for his players meeting or whatever. I was always just more of like I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, I'd come off of each one like, man, I nailed it that time. Got it. Perfect. And then Justin Martin would come up and be like, you didn't mention the store at all. I'd be like,
Come back.
Yeah. You left out a sponsor.
so for all those times that I did not thank the Nashville Disc Golf Store, thank you, Nashville Disc Golf
Thank
Store.
you, Nashville Disc
Sean
Golf
Groden,
Store.
Angela Burns, Justin Martineau, Johnny Blaze, everybody at the Nashville Disc Golf Store. Thank you
Nashville
guys for
Disc
what you
Golf
do.
Store helped my Christmas be very good because my mother contacted them, who knows nothing about disc golf, and they helped her make some awesome selections. So thank you, Nashville Disc Golf Store.
Yeah, buy your discs. Go check them out.
Yes.
I mean, have an online store as well.
That is the great thing. You guys, if you have a solid pro shop in your town, like an actual pro shop, not a big box store, with knowledgeable employees that know what they're talking about and can listen to you say what you're looking for and make an accurate recommendation, and has a large selection, has everything that you could possibly need in a place where you can go and lay your eyes and your hands on it before you decide if you want to make that investment, dude, support those stores. Support the Nashville Disc Golf Store and every store like it. Whoever it is. If you got one in your town, even if you think it's janky, buy some discs there, because those are hard businesses to keep in operation, and they are the lifeblood of this sport.
And they're there for you.
Go
Yes.
talk to them. Help them set up a fundraiser and bring some money in. Help them get bigger,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, and that's
how you do it.
that's a good thing to mention too. Talking about all things coming full circle, disc golf, especially in this area, used to be very, very tribal and segmented and like divided, and it was really hard to get that collaborative kind of momentum going. And you guys, a rising tide raises all boats. The more we work together, even in ways that you don't expect, the more you just reach out to your friends that are doing different things within the store and the people that you know, and just ask them, try to brainstorm, come up with a way that you can link up and work together in some capacity. Because the more that we can share what little platform and spotlight that we can get between us, dude, the better it's going to get for everybody.
Yep.
And that
Pie is big enough for everybody to have a piece. Everybody.
I'm working with.
and that's just the tip from me, the boss. The buck stops over there.
With the hair.
I'm working with another TD up in Iron Mountain, Michigan, to hopefully put on a women's only event in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, because the Yooper Dolls are a solid women's only club up there.
Respect their game.
Very cool.
Hopefully we can do that this year.
That's awesome. Well, man, surprisingly, because normally we go about an hour and take a break, but we're already kind of working our way through the better half of 2 hours.
Wow.
We went through kind of a time warp.
Yeah.
But dude, Justin, thank you so much for being such a diehard supporter of the show, man. I mean, like you're really the only really active follower the show has, and it is noticed, and we're very appreciative of
Well,
it.
I appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, you're putting the word out about disc golf everywhere around here. Not just Nashville, but you guys shout out to the Birdies and MTDGA.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you guys do great work. I love it,
Thanks.
and please keep it up.
We're gonna try, man. And yeah, and so that's part of the this whole thing where we're trying to drum up a little support now too. Is we're making upgrades. It gets expensive, so we want this to not be an expensive hobby that we can't keep up. We would like it to just. We're not expecting to get rich and famous off of this thing. We would like it to sustain itself if possible. Where
Exactly.
we don't have to go out of pocket every time we need something. Or
Please support the show.
Yes.
thank you guys.
Send all your monies.
And Jason and Bobby, Jason and Bobby, thank you guys for all the time and effort that you put into making this special place happen in your area, and for your support of Ogwood, and thank you for these gifts. And man, I'm super stoked because I had no idea that you were making this stuff. I had seen them. I didn't know that they were yours. And then I see it just kind of like I assumed that you guys are someone that here locally was behind the Twisted Amanita stuff.
Right.
But this is something that any way I can support what you're trying to do and you getting off the ground with your art like that, we're definitely happy to share our platform with you for sure.
Shout out Mark Miller, Twisted Amanita.
Yeah, golf snaps to Mark and Twisted
Yes.
Amanita, because man,
Beautiful shirts.
He's going through a big order right now for OTB discs.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome, man. I mean, I caught him right before that happened, and I have not looked back. I mean, the dude does amazing work.
yeah, I've seen the UFO basket one. That one was sick.
Yep.
That's just sick.
My wife got me that from Christmas. Thank you, Maggie.
And if you guys are big into tie-dyes and you're here in the Nashville area or the Middle Tennessee area, we have a couple really, really experienced tie-dye artists in our area that you can support here locally. Kim Birdie, Flying Colors Disc Golf, and Ryan Telly Bertel in Telly Tie-Dyes. So get on the Facebook, the Book of Faces, to holler at them, and flyingcolorsdiscgolf.com. But yeah, man, thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
man.
for having us.
Yeah, I know that's you drove here all the way from Wisconsin to be here tonight.
I know, right?
I flew here from Wisconsin, and boy, are my arms tired.
Coordinated already on the interstate. Coordination. We got to do that one day. What do you think? We can rock that outfit?
Yeah,
You and I?
You guys did.
I think we got to do something like equal but different, like something as awesome but go a slightly different direction.
Kind of like Bruce Lee in Yellow? Like,
Don't give it away.
Hey.
Well, let's talk about this off the air. We got to make it surprise and cheeky
Enter
and
the
clever.
disc.
oh, you're like a
Yes.
Bruce Lee. It's in the disc.
Enter the squirrel. I hit a
That's
squirrel
what
one
just
time
happened.
at Crockett Park.
I almost hit a
That
pterodactyl.
thing launched
at Trace
12
Creek.
feet into the air straight up, running the entire time, not going a damn place. Hit the ground. Pew!
Gone.
There's nothing more heartbreaking and funny and cool as when I was at Sanders Ferry, hole 5 or is it hole 6 where you play down to where the water kind of is sometimes, but it is,
Mhm.
you know, that little flat area. Trying to avoid the geese, not really, and threw a disc, and it turned up and turned over, hit the like goose right in the neck.
Oh,
So they're like just surrounding
Duck,
the one,
duck, goose, motherfucker.
the one that's on the ground, and they're just like surrounding them like it's like church. You know, they look like little penguins or something, man. They're just like going around. I'm like, "Are you okay, bro? Are you okay?" He's like, "Man, hey, dude, can you help me out?" And then like, I feel bad. Then I'm like, "Man, I just killed a freaking animal, man." And then he got up and like started walking off. I'm like, they just prayed around this dude. I was like,
Laying on him,
really freaking
laying
out.
on of feathers.
I will never hit an animal like that again with a disc. Like you can see like the disc hit his neck, and he's like, "Oh no!" Ah.
That's what I did the last time I got hit by
Yeah,
a
I'm
disc. I got
sorry.
hit right in the shin on hole 7 at 7 Oaks, and I just kind of went. It was really hard not to cry, dude. I just kind of sat down on the ground.
yeah.
One of those Family Guy.
Is that from the tee?
Yeah, I was about to say, was it a drive
From
or an
the tee.
upshot?
I was walking up from the tee pad on 7, and I caught one coming down from 6 right in my shin. It felt great.
Poor.
Yep. Guy didn't even realize he hit me. He came walking down the hill talking crap.
You got to keep it, right?
No.
I hit a guy in Buckner Park one time in the back while he was fishing on the old 14er. He never moved. Never said, I said, I'm sorry. He never even acknowledged that he got hit. Just sat there and kept fishing.
You keep your disc. You got the disc back.
I put it out.
Okay.
He probably kept me from going in the water, actually, too.
Hey, thanks, bro. Yeah, no problem. You got some arnica?
He had a heavy jacket.
Some
on.
Tiger Bomb?
He probably didn't even feel it.
You got hit with a circle.
You got hit with frying circle. Great big frying circle. See, we're talking about diversifying disc golf, and there I am appropriating
right.
Asian culture.
Way to go.
Hey, well,
Gonna get us canceled the same episode. I'm shouting out diversified disc golf. That's,
it's an impression of a character in a movie. So.
yeah, I do that a lot though.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. If you sue anybody, sue Schneider.
Right.
It's all in good fun. I mean it well. I mean I'm whatever. Yeah, it's been fun, guys. Been real fun.
Thank
Had
you.
a great time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You guys come find us at the Broken Steel. You're welcome to come out and play.
On my way.
Yep. That's definitely going to be happening here within the next 30 to 60 days.
Oh,
Stand on me.
really nailed it down there, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a lot
Pointed
going
in.
on right at the moment, man. I
kind of feel you on that.
We'll just
I
leave
gotta
it.
finish Stokely's book. I gotta finish
Right?
Stokely's
You're not
audio
lying.
book.
It won't be code
We'll
as
just
code.
leave the calendar open for you, man.
You think we play Broken Steel, Buckner, and Eggland the same day?
Ooh.
You could do it.
No.
You would need to start at the Broken Steel
Yeah.
or either
I'll
end
give
at
you
the Broken
one.
Steel.
Maybe we can play like half of Buckner.
Front nine at Buckner is always fun.
Dude,
You
when
have
I was
to play the back nine.
when I was a
What you
younger
do is you play the front nine and play both tee pads and be done.
Yeah.
when I was a
Yeah, I
younger,
got-
slimmer man, I played Ephraim White, Lover's Lane, and Holler in the Hills in the same day with Ed Birdie and Curtis Shriver. And dude, nah.
There's no way.
I just played Lover's Lane a couple of weeks ago, coming back from Boone Woods.
Yeah.
I had a
Lover's Lane is a fun course.
Yeah, yeah.
You and then plus that's one of those courses you play one round there and you're like, yeah, I could play another round.
yeah.
Let's go to Holler in the Hills.
Well, we had just got done with a tournament at Boone Woods, and on the way home, just happened to, hey, that's not far off.
You
the
didn't hit
road.
any cows, did you?
Nope. Nope. There's a lot of construction going on at Lover's Lane right now.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, a lot. So I don't.
That's been the case with a lot of the courses in Bowling Green over the last few years. Like I know they did a bunch of stuff over by Bowling Green Tech, or whatever that's called now, South Central Junior Technical Regional Community College of Southwestern Bowling Green area.
Is that an HB course?
I don't know. If you look at the initials they had in the caddy book for
long.
Bowling Green AMS one year, it was like SCJWVDIC. I was like, walk up.
Sam Squatch.
Can we have a better acronym,
You
please?
sound like Atom Bomb and Rodney mixed in one.
On that note, let's wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Like, share, subscribe, rate, review. Thank you to Jason and Bobby and Justin for making the trip out to West Nasty to be on the show in the Sapphire Lounge, and we will catch you guys on the flip. If I can find the big one.
Let the bass kick.